Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Neil. Nice throwback over. It is the first market recap show of 2024. As we get going again here. Oh, shoot, I have something in my ear so I can hear everything. All right, welcome, everybody. Wow, what a nasty beginning to the year. I mean, was it nasty? Was it just a pullback? We will discuss more and more of that as we go. You could see the rundown's pretty nice today. Sector recap, followed by, is it a chip issue? This tech, what's going on right now? We'll talk a little bit about the NASDAQ and that move down today and some of the winners turned into losers. Is it time to rotate back and forth in and out of our current positions? Do you want to look long banks? Banks really worked today. Do you want to be long crypto? Crypto fell down today. So there's going to be some nice positioning heading into the new year. Obviously, we're in the new year now, but is it just positioning or are we really just rebalancing again some of the winners? And there is going to be a move back up to the upside. I do have Brian Shannon coming on. I'm going to talk to him about Apple and everything like that. As you can see, I have a new segment on the board today. And it's going to be something that's important to me. It's called Sticky Note Recap. Actually, I guess I should have a sticky note here to show it to you. But the point is, I want to review some of the trades that we had today, why they went wrong, why they didn't, because I often get questions about, hey, how do you build a sticky note? What are you looking at? This will help us dissect it in reverse. So let's do that today. I'm really excited. But without any further ado, it's bang up time. Let's go over to the sectors and see what's going on. Look, man, SMH, the semiconductor index, downside. I warned about all of this earlier, right? And that was that when this starts to fall back down, I'm really worried about the NASDAQ. And it looks like that's exactly what happened here today. NVIDIA downside off 5 bills. AMD downside off 150. Micron, Intel down off of $50. The idea here is we all got, like, look, 50, 150, 500, right? Maybe it's an unlucky number, but if your name has a 5 in it and it's at a key level, you are probably going to the downside. That's all random, has nothing to do with anything. But there it goes, SMH back down in. And look at why. We're going to talk about this with the chip names. Just want to talk about it. AMD, yes, there's that 150, and here's a nice move down, over 6%. But guess what came in at the end of the day? A nice little buy imbalance. Man, if I have a headache now, what's going to happen after the dentist? All right, you know what? Today, China worries continue. As oil today, we'll get over that a little bit. You see UNG to the upside. We'll find out why USO was down. But if oil continues to go to the downside, are we sort of foreseeing potentially not a soft landing? Is there going to be a problem globally with production, with possibly consumer demand, hence oil to the downside? Look, I like paying less at the pumps. Brendo and I talked about this on the podcast. Make sure you check that out. But the thing is like, at some point, will the consumer sort of lose a little bit of steam here? That's what I'm worried about. And if that happens, right, oil could probably keep going lower. I look to buy some USO and some oil down here, but the name of the game today is China. We did have a nice bounce back over the last couple of days in FXI, but today, leading to the downside, more worries, more regulator problems. Look at BOVESPA bouncing off that 80 down to the downside. Neo Li Auto, I believe, was even down today. Oh, shoot, Sharif, man, do not look at this. Li Auto down today, 7.5%. Again, some of these names are still fine. Like Neo, the thing is, one day does not make a trade, although it can, and it does when you're day trading. I just wonder if today is worth pushing the panic button. Often, a lot of traders' this is going to sound crazy, but a lot of traders' years can be made by making some bad decisions intraday after an extreme move like this. If you're going to sell off AMD today down, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, or let's talk about a different name, BABA or something, down 4, 5, 6% today, right? That could be your whole year. Like, just by making a bad move today, you've already given up then that 7. Like, if you bought Alibaba into the end of the day on Friday, in Thursday, last week, and then you sold today. We talked about this with Rivian, with Neil. You can't, like, look at Rivian here. This is probably a better example, right? If you bought Rivian up here, maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger. You bought Rivian up on this gap, right? Rivian's looked really great. Even if you bought it here, and you're like, oh, well, today I'm going to sell it. Well, guess what? You by losing or giving up that 7 8%, Generally speaking, the NASDAQ is up and the S&P, let's just talk about the S&P, up on average 10.3%. Well, if you gave that back today on one trade, losing 10% on Rivian, obviously this is not a portfolio, but if you gave back that 10% now on Rivian, you need to make that back and more. Do not sell your full position on bad days, okay? Do not panic sell, and we'll talk more about that. And again, this is just advice that I've noticed out of my own trading, reading books, listening to like talking heads out there. You can make mistakes in one day that you will wind up regretting because you just sold in panic. If anything, look to today's move down to buy things that you like. You like Coinbase? Take advantage of the move down. I mean, look what happened to Coinbase today, right? A nice aggressive move down. Can I move this over here, Brenda, in case, so I can see our guest? Thank you. Look at this move back down in Coinbase, right? You're nowhere near it. And I can, I was going to look to see if Brian's there yet. Not yet. So I was going to say, I have him looking at Apple. He's watching the show. He can also look at Coinbase, because as this move comes back in, look how much you've given up in the last couple of days, from 186 down to 155. That's $30 haircut on 180. So you're down already about 15 to 20% in just a couple days on Coinbase. That could almost be the whole day, right? So, or your whole year on Coinbase. So be careful with that move coming back down in. You want to make sure that you buy aggressive names when they drop in, but do not put all of your money into one spot. Yo, it's not roll call, but I'll do one right now because I'm loving everybody that's in here right now. And thank you for listening to me talk, not just now, but for the last 6 hours. I did give a break in there. Of course, shout out to Sharif and Adair. It's More Hydration Nation. If you do have some water in front of you or whatever you're drinking, take this minute to have a sip with me. What's up, Benton? Benton is here. I haven't seen you before, have I, Benton? I really like that name. Shout out to you, Benton. Shout out to Richards here as well. Patrick Langlois is here as well, my French man. He says, go, 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 Sean. Hey, I'm here, baby. I ain't going anywhere. You guys know that. Yo, Jimbo Slice. I know you. That's a great name. You know, that puts me back to that street fighting days, you know, when I used to be a street fighter in the backyard of, you know, I used to hate watching those videos, honestly. That guy, Kimbo Slice, like people, in case you didn't guess, no, I didn't backyard brawl anybody, very similar to Brendan as well. Yeah, I wish I did that. You know, I did one time have a judge tell me, keep these guys put away, or else the next time there's going to be a problem. What's up? You love the Christmas decorations. What Christmas decorations? Oh, on my Twitter account. Oh no, what I was going to say about Kimbo Slice there is, I'm actually not one of those people. It's like kind of like when my wife, and shout out to my lovely wife, I don't actually like hearing negative stories. Like, I don't like seeing people get hurt or anything like that. So, like, I don't even, like, I used to hate watching, like, world star hip hop. Like, I don't like, honestly, I don't like seeing people getting beat up. Like, I don't even care if it's there. Even, like, watching some of that TMZ stuff, like, this San Francisco 49er fan beat up this Giants fan. It's like, no, I hate watching stuff like that. Like, honestly, I actually get emotional. I don't even want to talk about it. But Kimbo Slice, great name. I liked watching those videos, but man, that guy knocked a lot of people out. All right, a couple more. What's up, Paulie D? What's up, Michael Lloyd? What's up, Day Trade? Yo, 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 yo. Maybe I just showed my sensitive side there, but hey, you know, real see real, and that's what it's all about. All right, what was up today? UNG. You know what? I actually didn't look to see what was boosting up gas today. Again, I feel like some of those problems there in the Red Sea and on the Strait. I know there's been some companies now that were going to refuse to put their tankers back in there. Probably something to do with UNG, which is surprising why United States oil is down. So we can watch at that. Both USO and OIH and XLE all to the downside. Oh no, XLE's up today. Okay, so oil service is up. Silver down. Housing down. Which one of these sectors do we like the most? I think XHB, homes, been real hot. We'll wait to see. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have been going a little bit over the last little while. We can have a quick look there as mortgage rates start to come back in a little bit, although rates the last couple days and today going the other way as well. I wonder about utilities, but utilities still a nice little move upside. We're looking for this to break. The name that's all the rage, and I know I've talked about this with Brian Shannon as well, IWM. There's a lot of talk about which sectors. I know you're working with him. Is my, I don't know, just, that's okay. Just my face somewhere in the corner is fine, doesn't really matter. But just IWM again could be something where there's some value. People have talked about it, and there's a couple tweets that I made earlier today about sentiment getting to near highs of where we were in 2021. So I just wonder that if some money's coming out of the market, where can we see some value? And if I pull back the weekly chart on the Russell 2000, although the Dow obviously pulling back from all-time highs, the S&P came pretty close to all-time highs, and NASDAQ, we know, took it out, right? But look at the IWM. If we come back over here, Fabian, and the guy's got a big shout out to Fabian. Ramin's booked a couple days off, so imagine sitting there and switching to my face, Neil's face, Brendo doing the interviews and all that all day long. One man run our production, and he's still staying late. Traders stay late, production crew stays late. Shout out to everybody, but there he is. What's up, Fabian? Yeah, mad love for you as well, as he's coming up to raise time. I wonder how much money we're gonna have to give this kid. All right, so nice move to the upside, well deserved. IWM, the point is what I'm getting at again, long story short, you still got about, so if we're at 200, you got 240, so you still got about 20%. Yep, that's right, good math on that to get back to all-time highs. If you're looking for relative weakness in any sort of a spot, I feel like IWM might be a place to look. I can also ask Brian about that as well. If there's any sectors that maybe have been underperforming through whatever, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. And I know Brian's watching. I don't want to panic him to look at all this stuff as we go. But okay, next topic, because I wanted to get to Brian real quick. All right, I've said this before with Chris Bretcher on here, with JC Peretz, with Michael Noss. We're going to talk about it again as we come through here. I feel like the SMH and semis has what's led this market to the upside. We got that great news back a year ago, November and October, talking about Microsoft's investment into ChatGPT and OpenAI. What did that do? That was it was only a $10 billion investment to begin with. Add back the 3 that they had before, $13 billion investment, added $700 billion market cap. Huh? As we go, what? So we got a lot of extended moves from Microsoft, from NVIDIA, but what started it all? The rage in AI, in chips. So as those names continued to move to the high side, you had others follow. You had Meta up 198% last year. You had AMD, very, very similar numbers as that. NVIDIA up 240% last year. A lot of chip names led the way. Broadcom, even some names that are more expensive, right? So if they're gonna lead us through the 2023, what can lead us back down? I feel like we are getting pulled forward with some of these rates, and possibly demand getting pulled forward with NVIDIA and AMD on those chipsets as well. How large do these large language models actually plan on going, right? You're gonna have to keep on buying some of these chips and these graphic cards to support the PEs and whatnot from these chip names. So if you're gonna look at SMH, man, and you want to talk about a disastrous situation? I mean, what about a pullback all the way to the 200 period? We got that before the 50 period. Do we get it all the way back down to 120? If you do that, NASDAQ going to be 15,000 and change, and you don't want to hear that number from me. So right now, 120, possible pullback in, but that means that NVIDIA has to lose itself, right? So unlike M&M, who lose yourself, I fail. Hit that okay boomer. Is M&M still a thing? Like, yeah. Okay, good. You know M&M just turned like 50? Yeah. Jeez, this is not vodka, but if it was, I'd be I remember buying, and I'm sure maybe Brian does too, like Eminem, like his first couple albums, I was like, who is this guy? And then all of a sudden now this guy's 50 years old. Like, okay, that's pretty interesting. It's like Snoop Dogg. You know, the guy started when he was 17 or 18. You know, and that's like when those albums first started coming through. And now it's like this guy's like an old man right now. So, but he looks pretty good. I wonder how we all look compared to those guys. But hey, money can buy you a lot of nice things. That is for sure. Yeah, like a lot of things that these guys are doing. But anyways, if NVIDIA, this is just a weekly chart. So that's why we pulled it back out. 400 is not a pipe dream. We've been down here. We were just down here. Like for you guys thinking, oh, NVIDIA has no chance going back to 400, were you alive in November? Because that's where we were. So unless your birthday was a couple months ago, your first day was your birthday, then yeah, we've seen some problems in the space and we could get back down there with NVIDIA. That's about it, man. I really like IBB. I mean, look at this. You want to get an ETF. Again, the biotech. We've seen some nice moves up with Moderna and whatnot over the last couple of days. Look at biotech starting to get going. This is definitely a sector that I like. And on our podcast, and by the way, the podcast is ripping up the charts right now as we go, man. It's been a really great podcast. Our #1 viewed podcast was last week. Our #1 viewed podcast is going to be this next week heading forward. I want to thank everybody for joining me and Brendo every single week on that podcast. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Special guests, maybe we'll have Neil back. We'll have Brian if he wants to come on. I think that'll be a lot of fun at some point as well. But we're just building the podcast, baby. So we'll get that going as well. All right. Brian's ready, so that is always good. And when a man like that is ready, a man like this says, let's bring him on. It's Brian Shannon. Let's go. All right, Brian. How are you, my friend? Happy
Sean.
New Year to you and your family.
I talked over you. I was going to say the same thing, Sean. Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, my friend. And you sent me some nice pictures out there skiing, which is fantastic. Was that Colorado, I assume, or Aspen, or where were you at?
Yeah, that's Colorado. Just some backcountry stuff.
Great, absolutely amazing. And you said the snow was okay, not the greatest, but enough to get a good workout, which is sometimes what we like. And how about that scenery, man? Isn't that what we do it for? You know, get out there.
Yeah.
Get away from these screens for a minute and enjoy real life. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. What a move down for Apple. Today it was the #1 idea on the sticky note, and you and I have talked about this a couple times. It's failed off that 200 level, and it looks like it wants to go down. We were waiting for a downgrade. We got it today from Barclays. Apple falling down. Any good news insights here for Apple? What do we want to talk about?
I think so. Yeah. Let's. Can we pull up a chart here and take a look? So actually, let's start with a weekly chart just to get that bigger perspective. You can see that thick blue line was last year's anchored VWAP from the beginning of the year, and how our last big pullback fell right into that. Now, from that low, I've got that purple anchor, and you can see that's pretty much where we are. And from this prior high, we have an anchor just below, along with the 30 and 40 week moving average in here. So this zone, based on moving averages and anchored VWAPs, looks like potential support. Then we go back here and say prior resistance tends to act as support. So that kind of adds a little bit of credibility to that area. The problem here with buying it right here, right now, is I don't see a hurry to get involved because we're below the declining 5-day moving average.
Right.
And as I always say, you want to wait for that to flatten out. And that's probably going to take a week or so for that to happen. You know, maybe it does something like this, Sean, where, hey, let's say it doesn't even go any lower. Let's say it does this. Even then, I wouldn't be in a hurry to buy it. I'd rather buy it somewhere over here once it starts to get back above that 5-day moving average. So it's certainly worth keeping an eye on here and starting to put together your plan and wait for the evidence that the buyers are in control. We're at the 50-day moving average, and you know we've got a lot of important levels in here, but the evidence isn't there quite yet for a new buy.
All right, and that's exactly, thank you for basically addressing that question. Absolutely perfect. And that's something that anchored the VWAP to past beginning years of January. Is that something that we'll do pretty much? Like if I asked you the same thing for NVIDIA, for example, is that something that you would do? Would be no matter the stock, anchor it to last year's beginning of the year, maybe January 2nd or whatever that was? Is that something that you often look at for a year time frame?
It is. So I'll look at it, you know, starting today. I put a new anchor on for the year-to-date anchored VWAP. It's the daily VWAP. It's the week-to-date, month-to-date, and year-to-date. So that will build throughout the year, as did the anchor for NVIDIA here and for the Qs, etc. I'll generally keep it on there for the first couple months just to see if there's anything of interest in there. So, for instance, the what was it? The energy names are right at last year's anchor. So maybe that's going to provide a little bit of information. But, you know, we start a new year and that becomes a great place to anchor from because it often holds a support or resistance throughout the year.
Can I ask you about this chart that we have up right now with XLE? Because like it just looks like it's stuck there. Like there's all of
Yeah.
your lines. We've all like sort of, we call it barcoding. You know, when you see like a stock that just goes, it looks like you're scanning something at Walmart or whatever. So yeah, give me an idea about XLE, man, because I'm trying to buy some energy and I prefer the energy services, which is going to be XLE. I don't know. It seems like it's trapped. I don't really want to do anything right now. I'd rather wait for a push down into the mid 70s or so. What are we at right now? 84. So mid 70s is still a ways away. Am I right here, Brian, by saying let's just wait on this name? Like I don't want to touch this in the middle here, do I?
No, I mean, I don't see really any reason. That's, as you said, we're right in the middle of what has been this zone for all of last year and the fourth quarter of 2022. We're stuck in a range. We've got these moving averages crossing back and forth, telling us there's indecision. To me, it just looks like a big waste of time. You know, if you're a trend trader, there's no trend, leave it alone.
All right, I agree with all that. Come over to my screen right here, Fabian, because I want to show a tweet that Brian just put out, and it was today at 3:08. Maybe a little more exciting than that oil trade, because yeah, you're right. Let's talk about some, this is a key word, sensible swing trade process and what we're going to be looking at. So again, anybody, Brian's an absolutely great follow, the second best follow on Twitter. Okay, no, maybe the first, right there. But anyways, well described here, red, orange, blue, purple, green. Which one of these, what are we talking about? And in my opinion, I'd like to know, and I didn't even know that you mentioned this today, but this is the two ETFs and sort of indexes that I just mentioned as well, the IWM and the SMH. Anything that you want to add about this? What's looking good to you on sort of those two? Because the SPY and the Q, so many people cover them. Maybe let's look at chips, because I'm a little nervous about this.
Sure. I've got them up here if you want to take a look.
Sure, let's switch over. Yep.
So on the left, we've got the daily time frame. On the right, each one of these bars is 30 minutes. So actually, let's back it up to a weekly time frame. And we had, as we know, a huge rally last year. And, you know, a lot of people will call this a cup and a handle, right? So we broke that cup and handle. We held right there. And now we're in this giant uptrend on the weekly time frame. Drill down to a daily time frame. We've pulled back to the 20-day moving average right in here. And we are currently below a declining 5-day moving average. So that tells me right now that I just want to wait for this thing. There's no hurry to be involved. Maybe it does, you know, something like this. Maybe if it continues down for a week and a half, and then we see something like this. And then as the buyers regain control, I want to buy strength with a stop underneath the higher low. And then if it does this, great, I'll keep raising my stop up. Or if it just fails, well, then it's not ready yet. But right now, I think the message of all these markets, and that was the point of that tweet, was that we're below the declining 5-day moving average. And it's a great start to the year if you were, you know, one of your resolutions was, I'm going to be patient and not buy the dip, because there's no hurry. We've still got some time. Let the market settle in. Let it figure out what it wants to do, and let the institutions do the dirty work of finding the support. You don't have to go in there and try to support this stock. Wait for the trend to become established on the, you know, on the other side as it comes back up, and then participate in the strength rather than, you know, putting your hard money at risk, just, you know, gambling basically.
Yeah, it's funny. I know you CMTs kind of tend to stick together. Michael Noss, always when he's on our show, he talks about buying the smiley faces, which is exactly what you just drew for us. Make sure that you get confirmation, and then once you get that confirmation, then you can start to find some bottoms, and you'll know where you're wrong. And I feel like that's, to me, is by far the most important thing, is have an out. And I think I've heard you say this, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I consider, we're both traders, that's obvious. You're an author, by the way. Pick up this guy's book. Oh, here it is right here. Hold on a second, let me reach for it. Because why not? Oh no, Fabian. Hold on, Brian, I'm not prepared. There it is right here. We got it. It is Maximum Trading Gain through Anchored VWAP. Yeah, thank you. There's some cheering in the background. There it is right there. Make sure you grab it. But what I was going to say is we consider ourselves traders, but also risk managers. Like for me, it's like, why would I want to put our hard-earned money at work, whether or not you're on a prop floor, whether or not you're trading your 401k here in Canada, RRSPs, whether or not you're swing trading? Never put, like, I don't know the saying, good money after bad or whatever it is. Make your decision and get out when your levels break. I had a great example today with Tesla. It fell in, we took $2, it came right back and we got out of the rest and then it ripped up. But you know what? My stop was hit, and I know you've had examples of this for sure in your life, where you get out for profit or for not, and then it just continues to go. The idea is in the process, you know, and I know you know that. So, all right, is there anything maybe as we get a little bit late on time, and I apologize, and I thank you for staying late with me, because traders stay late, Brian. This is the thing.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I like that. Any ideas maybe that we can look at, especially after a dip down, anything sort of setting up? You always give us a lot of ideas, and then you got a lot of praise on the chat. Over 2,400 watching right now. Is there something maybe that we can open our eyes, or are we going to let this drop down, and then maybe next week when you and I talk, we'll have a little bit more clarity?
You know, there was a few that are decent. I mean, I've still got some of that Boston Scientific that we spoke about last week. I still have a third of LQDA, but for new stuff, this DBRG is still early. I've still got an eye on that one. I don't own a position in it yet. ADT, I think we spoke about that one. Let's look at the weekly chart there.
That's looking great.
It's still not ready, but you know, getting there. ASC is another one that's ready, but not quite there yet. So there's a lot of stuff that's setting up, but not quite ready to go. CRSP, I've got an eye on that one. It outperformed a little bit today, and maybe that one can start to perk up a little bit. But what was this one? PGRE is a nice little pullback. Paramount Group. If you look at the weekly there, it broke this resistance on a nice big volume push. Lighter volume as it's consolidating in here. So that's one I've got an eye on. But the problem with this stock and, you know, those other ones I pointed out, we've still got that 5-day moving average declining. So it tells me it's, you know, maybe a day, 2 to 3 days away from some of these setups to really trigger, so I can buy them with confidence.
All right, Brian, I actually have one more name for you. Do you want to go over a name just on the fly quickly?
Of course, yeah.
All right. So I'll give you a second to call it up, but I'm going to look at it on this screen just real quick. It's going to be Disney. And there's a lot of groans. I hear Fabian, he's young, he don't like Disney. But you know what? I'm a little nervous because we didn't get back to that 100. I always think psychological levels like 100 are pretty key. We didn't really get back there. We kind of got going. We got to like 96, 97 there. We have a nice bottom. And this goes all the way back to 2020 COVID bottoms right here. And we bounced off of that. I'm just nervous that we bounced off of this because basically every stock in the whole S&P and the whole universe seems like it bounced in October and November. I don't really like the name. I don't really like the story with Disney. Am I crazy to hold on to this? I don't know. Tell me about Disney, anything you have.
I don't know if you've got some. I think it's worth holding on to. You know, the weekly chart says maybe it's made its bottom in here and it's trying to, you know, it's in this accumulation zone. If it can make a higher high over, you know, over last year's fourth quarter high, then we have an uptrend. But for now, it's just kind of neutral, getting ready to go maybe. I like that it's right here. This blue is the 50-day moving average. That's going to cross up through that black 200-day moving average. And you're going to start to hear people talk about the golden cross, which really means nothing, but you'll hear it anyway. But it's good that the 200 days maybe going to start to flatten out here. This is where we were 200 days ago. So that will still decline for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I think it's still a little bit early in there for new purchases, but this is definitely an area where I'd like to see it hold at that 50 and 200-day moving average.
Okay, yeah, agreed wholeheartedly. Where'd he go? Where is he? There he is. Hey, Mr. Shannon. Okay. All right. At Alpha Trends is where they can find you. Thank you so much for joining me one more time. And again, let's make 2024. Can we make it better than 2023? I mean, 2023 was pretty good. Let's see if we can beat, I don't know if we'll beat those returns, but let's see if we could just have a better year. How about that?
Let's all focus on our process and make sure we stick to what we meant to do. And then hopefully the results come because the market rewarded us for that.
That's exactly what it's all about. We can't say that enough. It's like more education, understand the process, and have reasons for your ins and your outs. It's Brian Shannon, and we love him here. Thank you so much, Brian. Have a good one. I'll chat with you next week.
You got it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, my friend. All right, a lot of love there in the chat. Kudos to Brian. Thank you, Brian. A lot of people loving that. And a great take. And that's why traders are staying late. You know, you get traders that going on other programs. Starts with a C, ends with a C, has a B in there somewhere, maybe an N. You know, those guys are coming on. They've got all their stuff prepared. There's no it's me and Fabian right now running this show. All right? We're going to talk about real trades, people that are actually putting on positions, you know, real money at work, not a hedge fund that doesn't really care. They're just going to speak their book, things like that. Brian going over what's real levels. I know he has prop experience. And hey, man, us combined, you know, think about the amount of years involved with that. I just want to thank everybody for watching because we put a lot of effort into this show. And it's really important that we continue with high quality guests and pretty much not any higher than Mr. Brian Shannon. Go check it out. All right, quickly, as we got to go to our next topic. Oh, sticky note recap. Oh no, we haven't even got to that. Okay, let's just do this real quickly. Bullish sentiment. Thank you, Gunjan. Yo, Gunjan. Soon I'm going to stop asking you to come on the show. But right now, nice move up. I just want everyone to check this out. Bullish sentiment among investors is hovering around the highest levels since 2021. And I just wrote to that, you know, when sentiment is super high, nah, not a good sign sometime. When everybody is in the same boat, it tends to sink. Too much weight, everyone thinking the same way. Let's wait to see. I'm not necessarily, you know, overly bullish on the market, but I'm also not very bearish as well. And I hope that you sort of got the sense of that from Brian and myself. Another thing here, we just had Brian on. We ain't done. Nepa. All right, I know you got to go, my guy, and we're gonna let you go very, very soon. U.S. stock market winners and losers of 2023. Go find that. Thank you, Brian, for that one. And I just want to say this: no matter what we all think about Mr. Elon Musk and Tesla, nice AI-generated picture, but just look at this. These are annual deliveries. 10 years ago, man, 22,000 cars. 22,000 cars 10 years ago. 1.8 million. Today. Just look at this. Tesla's not a new story, continues to make moves to the upside. And come on, man, no matter what you think about this, show some love to Tesla. And I'm not pumping my own book. I don't know if I love Tesla or not. All right, real quick, we'll talk about that as we go. All right, what did we talk about on the sticky note today? Pretty simple stuff, man. We really love the Apple short. That banged it out all day long, baby. This was the #1 stock. And again, I have to be careful what I say on the main show because we all trade differently. I have to keep saying stuff like that. But at the same time, man, you guys know what's good. 190 break, 189 break to the bottom. We had this all day. 185 out. Great short. At the end of the day, 184 and change, man. If you're rolling with me, that's a $4 winner. Take it or leave it. What else was on there? XOM. Why did we like the long? It's above 100. That really started to work out, man. That XOM long. Talk about something that we didn't have. But again, if we're going to review our sticky note, why did we like the long? Look at this. No matter what, I don't have the trade, fine. This is why we're reviewing this. Forget about the price. We wrote down right here. This gets written at 8 o'clock, baby. XOM long. This is just where I'm looking at it. Oil back in play. Long. We like it. But look at this. Boom. If you like the long in XOM, just take it. How does $3 taste? Bang. All right. Tastes delicious. That's right. Yeah, that's funny, man. This Fabian guy. All right. How about Boeing? How about this? Boeing, downgrade today. It's 255 short, right? We talked about Boeing. Where is it right here? Goldman Sachs with the downgrade. So look at Boeing. Here's 255 right here. See ya. That's $4. Bang. That's a sticky note. So that's 1 for 1. That's 2 for 2. And again, sometimes these won't work. But what about a firm? Sean, tell me you took a firm. Well, if you want to know about that one, bang. You think you guys like this segment? I mean, I don't know. I'm just coming up with stupid stuff all the time. But here's a firm. There it is, $48 short. Where's my dollar club? Again, there it is again, a firm all day, baby. So there we go, man. Sticky note today just happens to be 4 for 4. Doesn't mean every single day, but it's the ideas. That's what it's all about. All right. My guy wants to get out of here, so let's do that. It's roll call time, baby. So if you're still here, who's here? Next topic, it's roll call. Let me know if you like that segment. I don't mind going over that. If I have a little bit more time, I'll do it. But I got to say shout out to B. Shannon there because I'm not going to pull that guy off, that's for sure. Great ideas there. Hopefully you guys like that. Happy New Year to absolutely everybody out there. Thank you for rocking. Traders are staying late, man. This is what we're doing. That makes you awesome. Thank you so much, man. You guys like it. Good. Nice work. You put on a great show. Thank you so much, Paulie D, a.k.a. D's Nuts. What's up to Robert? What's up to Tarksa? There you go. He says me. I say you as well. Happy zombie. Hey, if you're going to be a zombie, you might as well be a happy one. So that's for you, happy zombie. Mr. Ducats. More ducats. Addicts is in the building. Tom Strange is here. James L is here. Oh, by the way, I know I'm super old, and I was probably the oldest one at that Travis Scott concert, but honestly, I want to go to all the Travis Scott concerts. That was so much fun. Like every single song, it was like the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup all over again, and they haven't done that since '67. I cannot believe how much of a great time that was. Thank you to my lovely wife for going with me, man. We had a great time. Make sure you follow me at TraderTV and on Instagram, man. I put some pictures up of that one. Man, I felt old, but that was so much fun. I want to go back to that over and over and over again. Thank you so much for the calls today. Henry, man, Tesla Printing Bank as well. That's a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. It's Trader TV Live. I'm Sean Catino. Go follow me at Trader TV Sean. Follow us all, man. Traders stay late, and you did it with me and Fabian. Ciao for now. See you tomorrow.